everyone, welcome back to Brook Valley Life, or hello for the first time. So today, when you get a new bow, everyone says, oh, you need to tune it. What are they actually meaning? For us, people that have been around in the archery community for a while, we know. But if you're new, or even if you're an intermediate and you may not have picked up all of the lingo yet, what does it actually mean? Well, it means that you get the right arrow to shoot from your bow, and then also setting up your bow so your arrows fly straight. That's the best way of putting it, I think, for the layman. But how can we do that? Well, first of all, we get our bow and we make sure first of all, we don't want to be overbowed. This isn't to do with tuning, but we get our bow and make sure our limbs, these are our limbs, just here, these are the Nika C2s that I've just got, yeah, that we can actually draw them. You don't want to pick up a bow where you pick it up, you want to start shooting, and you should always have an arrow in there just in case, and always point away from danger, so always point at the target. So you come up and you want to be able to hold it and hold it and hold it and hold it, and now I'm beginning to shake, but I would have let the arrow go by now. What you don't want is to pick up a bow and you're really trying to get it and struggle, and you will damage or hurt yourself. Don't do that. So pick a light poundage to start with and then move up. Next thing you need to do, now a lot of people, sorry if there's any wind noise, it's a bit breezy today, they say line it up, make sure your limbs are straight. Yes, you can do that. You can buy blocks, or you just follow the line of the string, and I usually stick it between there and there, so 1 and 2, and make sure it goes in a straight line. If you put the blocks on the limbs, you can put it through as well, but there was an Olympian who I think won with twisted limbs, so does it really matter? No, if you shoot the same every single shot, you can adjust for it and you can shoot good scores. But what you do need to do is get your center shot right. Center shot is how far your button is sticking out, and when you've got your arrow on there, you look down to the point, and the point needs to be just to this side of the string. As you look down, line it up in the center, the string, line it up in the center of your riser, look to the point. It's better to do it against something white, and then it should be just off for a right-handed archer, just off to the left of the string, and for a left-handed archer the opposite, so just to the right of the string. If you don't do that, what's going to happen? Your arrow's going to hit the riser, you're going to strip fletches. Now if you remember in I think it was my last video, or one of them a bit before, I said my fletches were hitting and I thought it was the rest. Turns out it wasn't the rest, it was my center shot was way off. I adjusted it, my fletchings are fine now, so that's that. So set your center shot up correctly. Next, so we'll go through these in steps. 1, pick the right draw weight limb. 2, set your center shot, make sure that's in the right position. 3, get the right spined arrows. Here are 3 different arrows. As you can see that. Yeah, don't worry about the vanes on the end. They've all got pin knocks. They're all 0.166 or 4.2mm internal diameter. What's different between them? The spine. What do I mean by spine? When someone's saying spine this, spine that, well, what it is how much it takes to bend the arrow between 2 certain points, and how much you need for it to deflect. I think it's 1 inch or 2 inches. You can look that up, but it's how bendy they are. The lower poundage bows will have a arrow that's easy to bend. Higher poundage bows will have an arrow that's difficult to bend. Why? Well, when you shoot, let me just put these away. When you shoot your arrow, you've got the string here pushing it that way. You've got a point on the end, yeah, and as you push, ladybird, you're pushing against that point and the arrow actually bends before it starts moving forward. Now if I was shooting, say, a 50-pound bow and I had these 800 spine arrows, this is going to bend a lot compared to shooting a 30-pound bow, which is what this is for, yeah, and it would only bend a little. But why? Why is that important? Well, our arrow has to go around our risers for recurve archers, and I think the best thing is look up Archer's Paradox and what arrows do. There's a great video online of a guy shooting weak spine arrows from a high poundage bow, and what happens is he breaks an arrow. And I think I'm not sure if he's using wood or carbon or aluminium, but yeah, it actually breaks because there's that much force going through it. It will affect where it hits. So there are charts, and I'll put a chart up from Skylon now. Eastern have got, all the big companies have got them, but this is the Skylon one. And for a 30-pound bow, and you just read, and on either side of them, you'll be able to see this, it'll either say compound or recurve, and then it will give a distance, or sorry, not a distance, but a weight. And the recurve will be like 30 to 34 pound, and then in the middle you've got the draw lengths. So you need to know your draw length. Mine's about 29 inches. So you draw 29 inches, you go to the poundage of the recurve bow, and it will come into the middle and it will say table T5 or T4. You'll go in there and it will give you a range of arrows that you can use. So that is working out the spine of the arrow. And what I'll do is I'll put a few arrows through the bow from different spines. So I've got 800, 700 and 500, just to show you, even up close, what can happen with the arrows. So we've got our arrows. We may have picked slightly wrong, or our bow's weight is in between. How can we affect our spine of our arrow? So arrows usually come a certain length. It's usually about 32 inches, maybe 33. That's their full length. Now, especially for us recurvers, you don't want them, where you go, you don't want them that length, because you want to be able to draw it through the clicker. So if you've got a short draw length, you're going to cut your arrow down. These I cut down, and then you glue points and then pins, and then you stick a pin knock on the end. And I glue mine in with hot melt glue. Now, depending on how short or how long you have them, the spine of the arrow will actually change. The shorter, the stiffer they get. The longer, the more bendy, so the weaker they get. Also, the point weights can change. When you buy points, you can buy points from, especially for us target archers, anywhere from about 80 grain, because they're counted in grains, up to about 150, even higher. These, I believe, are 100 grain, and I've got, I think it's 150s, not in those, in those. I think they're 150 or 140, and they feel heavier on that end. And I know people talk about front to centre weight, FOC and all that type of thing, but Yeah. And by adding more weight at the front, you can make the the arrow's spine weaker. But then you've also got to think about the distance the shaft of the arrow, because it goes up inside here, because that'll stiffen it up again. It's really, really weird. And the more weight you put at the back, I believe the stiffer the arrow comes as well. So there's lots of things you can do to adjust your arrow spine. So yeah, arrows, that is one of the biggest things for tuning your bow, is getting it right. So we're going to keep this simple. So number 3, arrow spine, and being able to adjust it with pins, points, length, and all those type of things. Now the last thing I want to cover today for tuning the boats, keeping it simple, and this is for recurve archers, bare bow archers, not your traditional guys who shoot off the shelf, but those guys and girls, of course, who use a cushion plunger. Now, this here is our cushion plunger. We've already set the centre shot, held it like that. But as you can see here, hopefully, the cushion plunger does what it says. It's like a little shock absorber. So when the string pushes and it bends the arrow, it actually pushes against that and acts as a shock absorber and keeps the arrow away. Now we can adjust by turning this in and out the strength of the spring and the amount of shock absorption we actually get from this, and by adjusting it, it will also affect where the arrow goes. So this is where we come into bits like micro adjustment, and you can actually move the arrow across the face. And that's what I'm going to do now, is I'm going to shoot some arrows. I will shoot say 3 and a bare shaft from about 10 meters, and then I will put more weight, and then I'll take some weight off, just to show you how it can affect where your arrow lands. So come with me and let's go and shoot some arrows from 10 meters. So we're back at 10 meters, and I'll put some arrows down. So I've put 2 down there, they're virtually in line. So what I'm going to do now is loosen the plunger just a little bit. Let's put 2 more down, see where they go. So as you can see, they both went to the right, showing stiff arrows. So let's change this now. So I've stiffened them up and let's see what happens. If things go right, they should go to the left of the first 2 arrows I shot. So I'm not worried about the up and down. Excuse me. So as you can see, by adjusting your button you can actually get your arrows to move left and right. So what you're really doing is, I would say spine tuning, but you're working on how that cushion plunger and that shock absorber is pushing the arrow away or letting it allow to come in more. So you want to find the sweet spot in the middle. So the 4 things think about for tuning your bow ish: 1, buy or get limbs that you can actually draw all the way, yeah, because you don't want to be here and not be able to come back any further. You'll damage yourself, you won't get much out of the bow as you should do. So good. 2, set your center shot. Yeah, if you don't set your center shot right, you'll start damaging your arrows. I don't think I've got any here that are damaged at the moment, but yeah, you will damage your arrow fletchings, and you can damage your arrows as well as it hits on the way past. And the one thing you don't want to do is damage your nock and then shoot it and dry fire your bow. Number 3, get the correct spined arrow for your draw weight. Yeah, you can actually change your draw weight of your bow if need be by letting your limb bolts in and out a fraction. It's usually £2 higher, £2 lower, rule of thumb. And please remember, you can help adjust your arrow spine by cutting your arrows to length, and if you cut them they get stiffer from the 33 or 32 they come with, and by putting different point weights in and weights at the back you'll also change the spine of the arrow. And then 4thly, plunger button, your cushion plunger. By putting it or getting it really hard and there's no shock absorption, your arrows will go to the left for a right-handed archer, opposite for a left-handed archer. Take it all the way off and make it really springy or really cushiony. They will go to the right-handed, opposite left-handed. So get that one just in the middle where you're happy, it's working well, and your arrows aren't hitting anything, and it just is working perfectly. So I hope you've enjoyed this. It's just a quick look at tuning, just the real basics you can do. You hear all this jargon from archers. If you don't understand, this is what it actually means, and this is what you were doing. Yeah, so if you've enjoyed this, please hit that like, hit the subscribe, it all helps, and I will catch you next time. Keep shooting, keep enjoying the beautiful weather. Summer's coming, Northern Hemisphere. We're going into winter soon. Catch you later. Bye bye.